Hello YouTube, I'm here for another Medieval 2 battle replay. This is something I can't remember. I believe I'm Denmark, which would mean I'm Captain Bjorn. So I command Denmark. My allies are Sicily, Spain, and the Timurids. You can see they have some elephants. Okay, so let's pause and take a look at our armies. So we are defending a siege, and it looks like it's a 4v4 with our enemies. Egypt, England, the Turks, and Russia. So let's take a look at my army first. I'm sorry, but Bandicam always makes my mouse go crazy. For sometimes more than normal on Bandicam for like Medieval 2. I never really tried snap screens. Okay, so this is my general's bodyguard right here. So this is my general's unit. I think I have like 3 units of these mounted crossbowmen. 3 units, sorry. I have two trebuchets by the looks of it. I have some, these are the Timurids. I'm trying to find mine. I have some, what are these? Knights Hospitaller. Some chivalric knights. Now I'm sure I have more units over here. So on the walls I have some Norse archers. I have some more over here. I guess I have some crossbowmen, which would make up my crossbows. And I also have plenty of units of these Norse axemen, which are great units. Very good in melee. Trying to find more of my men. I guess I could just follow the green. But I think I've covered most of my armies. No, that can't be true. I know that there are, I have more. Oh, here's some over here, I would guess. Yeah, I have plenty of these Norse archers. And then these Obud shares make they can form spear walls, so they're pretty good. I guess I kind of use them as a defense line. I don't think I really put much use because our enemies never got to the town center. So the Timurids, they have an Afghan javelin and Sabadar militia, which are like bowmen. Back here, they have dismounted heavy lancers, which is pretty much their only melee unit that's very good. And they have elephants gunners. I can't really tell how many units, probably like 1 or 2. I'm pretty sure they have some Kansguard and a bodyguard in there. The bodyguard has their general. Sicily. Well, they have some Norman knights. You know, I'm just gonna go around and say the guys that I see. So, plenty of Kansguard. Spain has some Knights of Santiago. And some dismounted conquistadors. Knights of Santiago, no, these are chivalric knights. Sicily has some this general bodyguard and some mounted conquistadors, and also some dismounted conquistadors for Spain. Defending this wall on the walls are some Naphtalians for the Timurids. They have like, what is that, 3 or 4 units on the wall there. Making sure I didn't miss any. Here's some more dismounted conquistadors. They're great units, so I wouldn't be surprised if the only infantry I gave Spain was dismounted conquistadors. Pavi's crossbow militia and Pavi's crossbowmen from Spain and Sicily man the walls here. Also some Muslim archers from Sicily and more Pavi's crossbowmen. More Pavi's crossbow militia from Sicily, and Sicilian infantry that are manning the gate are some dismounted men-at-arms, and dismounted broken lances, and dismounted Norman knights, 1 unit each. Spain also has some genets here, and a general and Spain's general's bodyguard. If we go over here, we go to where the Egypt is coming in. Sicily has some Norman knights, right here. Dismounted men-at-arms. Manning this gate is some dismounted mounted conquistadors for Spain, and dismounted broken lances and men-at-arms for Sicily. Ooh, and some dismounted Norman knights. Looks like maybe 1 unit each again. Where England is coming, Spain has some dismounted conquistadors. Sicily has more Muslim archers manning the walls and more Pavi's crossbowmen for Spain. And then manning the gate is more Sicilian infantry. They have some Pavi's crossbowmen, dismounted men-at-arms, dismounted Norman knights, and dismounted broken lances. Once again, 1 in a unit each, manning the area where England's coming in. And it looks like not too many people is guarding this. They have Naphtalians on the wall, and Spain also has 1 unit of dismounted conquistadors. But yeah. And so that's everybody. So why don't we look at the infantry, the enemy troops? Now Egypt, they have 2 siege towers and a ram. Manning the ram is some peasants, and manning the 2 siege towers is 1 unit of tabarderia, and it looks like the other siege tower is manned by another is dismounted Arab cavalry. They have some Mamluks, which are good cavalry. They have a bodyguard with their general in it. They have some spear militia units back here. More Mamluks, some Nubian spearmen, and dismounted Arab cavalry. Some Arab cavalry, peasant archers actually. Dismounted Arab cavalry, this Saracen militia, Arab cavalry, and then tons of peasants back here. Looks like, where is their general? Let's find their general here. Oh yeah, it's in their general's bodyguard that they have. England, let's get to England. England's coming in here where the thing is. England, so once again 2 siege towers and a ram. Manning the ram is some peasants, and then manning the 2 siege towers is a unit of armored swordsmen and billmen. And it doesn't look like they have any cavalry. Looks like back here their general is not in this bill militia unit. Some bill militia, billmen, town militia. Looks like their general is in this unit of armored swordsmen. More town militia, peasants. Whoops, my microphone just dropped. Peasants, peasant archers, levy spearmen, spear militia, armored sergeants, wide variety. Okay. So, peasants. I think we're ready to start this battle. So, now as you'll see, I set up all my units in the town center. I have my trebuchets, my cavalry is mixed in. And then, guarding each entrance into the town center, I set up my obu shares with their spear wall formation. I also sent this mounted crossbowmen unit. And I have some Norse archers behind every unit of obu chars, so they can take fire. And then I have my mounted crossbowmen. Now, mounted skirmishers are very, quick units. They are faster than melee cavalry that are heavy, of course, more heavy. But, I, stop them here, and I try to get some shots. Once, Egypt breaks the gate. They haven't quite set up their ram. I do manage to get, my crossbowmen shooting at them. And so it looks like our towers are taking fire on these peasants.
Hey, we should be using Christmas
these tabardaya, I probably failed to pronounce that, are heavy infantry. I'm not sure about these Arab cavalry. I don't quite remember this battle act, honestly. Let's take a look at Russia. They had their ram pretty well up there. So yeah, they're right up on the gate, and then they have set up their siege tower, and then these crossbowmen up on the wall with skirmish mode on have fled the walls now. Except it looks like these Sicily's missiles units have glitched, which is unfortunate. Looks like the siege towers aren't even doing anything. I don't know. Sicily has only 3 melee units that now are kind of flooding back. Or maybe it's just and there goes and then there is the Russian ram, I believe. Maybe. Yep, that is a Russian ram. And so these peasants just charge in. So his armies just like charge and they're sending everybody the heck in. Fortunately these pobbies are kind of like right in the middle, so Sicily, they send in their cavalry militia, which is heavy cav, but they didn't get a flanking shot. They didn't flank them. Then again, the dismounted Norman knights, they don't have that much of a melee bonus against cavalry, but these aren't very good cavalry, so you can see dead horses all over the place. But it looks like they didn't have the formation, so they kind of got this out of hand. Fortunately, Spain sent out some dismounted conquistadors to kind of put them in place. Timurids are also here, and Spain's sending out some cavalry. Fortunately, that Pavi's unit, which was right in front of the door, has routed, and same with the Spanish Pavi's unit. And the siege towers are now beginning to work. So they're getting up there. Now, Russia I found was the most interesting. I didn't really get into it, but I wonder how Egypt is doing. Did I send my mountain crossbow unit back yet? And there goes a Russian general. No, that's a Turkish general. Turkish, is that a word? Here it is. Okay, so I haven't sent this mounted crossbow unit back yet. And there's a Russian general. Yeah, he was in one of those cavalry militia, it looks like. Yeah, those are cavalry militia. So his general just died, and the Turkish, so that will help. And so Egypt kind of flooded in. They kind of overwhelmed the Sicilian guys. And this conquistador unit is not doing too well. His general is right there. So I'm trying to take fire at them, but for some reason this unit of mounted crossbowmen is not listening to me, and they're firing up at this dismounted Arab cavalry on the walls. Or maybe not, maybe they're trying to fire over the walls. You can see dead horses and infantry. I'm not sure if those are from the tower or my mountain crossbowmen, or from any missile units that Sicily or Spain had on the walls. Yeah, I'm trying to watch my cursor because then I can tell when each 10-minute interval is up. It's not too long of a battle. I don't know how long it actually takes. So Sicily has a Pavi's unit that is retreating back, but I still have this mountain crossbowman. But I'm sending them back because they're just like not cooperating. And it looks as if Egypt is going to break through these Sicilian units. Spain has some chivalric knights over there. And they have taken the walls. They still have Tabarderia and dismounted Arabs coming up the siege towers. They pretty much taken them, but these Muslim archers from Sicily are making a stand against these Arabs. Looks like they're completely failing though, but worth a shot. The good thing about archers and melee is you can have like 10 up front fighting, and then you can have the ones in the back firing missiles. Then again, if your archers suck at melee, then the ones in the front are going to fall, then the attacking infantry is going to move on. And it looks almost helpless. These Sicilian melee units have routed, and here comes the Egyptian cavalry. And I got my crossbowmen out just in time, but dun-dun, elephants are coming. Now, they may mess up the formation of these routing units. There's only 20 left. If it wasn't for these elephants, they'd be dead. And they have those gunners firing. So these elephants have taken up defending the flank, but unfortunately the Sicilians on this side have routed as well. And these Mamluks come charging in on this idle chivalric unit who comes charging back at them. It's a cavalry fight. Fortunately, Mamluks are categorized as heavy cavalry, but chivalric knights are pretty tough cavalry. So, doesn't look good for the Egyptian cavalry there. Unfortunately, every guy there broke, but with Russia, we had mass routes. We did concentrate a lot of melee units. To the Timurids even. I'll be right back. Okay. So, you can see tons of dead Russian cavalry. Unfortunately, Sicily has some routing. And then, these woodsmen, for some strange reason, are routing towards our base. They're probably gonna die, but you can see all this carnage. You can see some of the Pavi crossbowmen, some dead conquistadors, but the most noticeable is all these dead Russian cavalry. So yeah, they didn't do too well with their cavalry. That's a problem you have to overcome when you're attacking a siege, is that if you don't have any artillery, then you just go through the gate or up on the walls. And then you just have to charge over one concerned area, so if you don't have good infantry, it can be very difficult. You can't flank or anything, so you just be forcing on that line, and that can be hard to do depending on certain things. I'm still not doing anything with my army. I may have gotten a few shots off, but I have moved up this unit of obud shares, because you saw the Egyptians did a great job of breaking through, but now they are having some plentiful amounts of unit routing. I wonder who that was. I think that was the Egyptian general. We saw him earlier, so he was there. And then that causes a mouse rout, of course, added to the elephants there. Sicily also got into this with some Norman knights and some, Norman knights, mounted Norman knights. But it looks like they're having this mouse rout, except they have some Arabs over here. They had concentrated a lot of cavalry, and they're also sending this Tabarati unit on this unit of chivalric knights, which now is down to 49. But they have been constantly keeping back. They have been protecting that flank so that they don't flank us. The elephants probably helped a lot. If we didn't have those elephants, those Egyptian infantry would have gotten right into our base, or castle. I think this is actually a city. One thing we didn't check on was England. Now, they have kind of broken through too, but Spain has some cavalry. They actually have their bodyguard, and then there's some Sicilian infantry here. So England pretty much broke through. Never mind, they routed. But some Spanish cavalry are making a move on this flank to try to break them in. And then they had sent some infantry. This dismounted conquistador unit from Spain was marching down here, and then it looks like these England sent a bunch of infantry to stop them from flanking them. But they are not doing too well. I mean, what is that? You can, there's hardly any dead conquistadors, but you can see tons of dead English infantry. And then let's check up on the Turks, shall we? I think we did poorly with Egypt. They really were successful at breaking down. Russia was pretty easy. And then the Turks, they also got here. The problem was they sent mass amounts of armies over here. And then the only guys holding these guys back are Spanish Jeannettes. They are taking some shots and they're killing a few. But that's all that's actually coming here. I saw some Sicilian Muslim archers coming, but how did they had Sicily? No, the Timurids had some Naphtalians on the walls. It looks like, doesn't look like they were killed. They either got down here and were killed or routed back, or they survived. And who was that? By the looks of that, that's English general, I believe. No, that can't be, because England didn't have any cavalry. Was that one of ours? It can't be. That must have been Spain's general. They had their general's bodyguard. Looks like the general just went through too much, but they're up against some peasant archers and some town militia. These spearmen can really take out those guys. They have some dismounted conquistadors and Spain and mounted and dismounted conquistadors coming up on this flank of England, and then on this flank their dismounted conquistador unit. They're still pressing on these spearmen, but you can see the carnage that they had caused. I mean, they are doing pretty well. I mean, you can just see the carnage that they're just plowing through this line. I mean, they're taking some losses. 116? I'll tell you something, that number is not going down any quickly. They just got a charge up there. Infantry doesn't have too much of a charge bonus unless you upgrade them. Plus it's spearmen. Spearmen can have pretty good charge bonuses. Let's take a look at the Turks, shall we? I'm pretty sure this is Russia, this is Egypt, this is England, and this is the Turks. Russia, gone. There's nothing left of Russia. Is there anything? No, nothing. I mean, a tiny bit of remaining, Sicilian and Spanish infantry is guarding the gates, and they have crossbow militia just sitting out here and firing. So that's what's left of this crossbow militia. Now they are having some infantry coming back, woodsmen, and that crossbow militia is still there. They're taking some shots. They actually have a good amount of men, so the Timurids have come with some dismounted heavy lancers. I don't know what they're going to do with them. Let's take a look at the Turks. I remember sending some infantry over here to just get the Turks out of the question. Did my infantry arrive? Well, they have some Sipahi lancers that have just come through here, and they are plowing through these Jeannettes. I mean, yeah, that number is dropping pretty fast. The Jeannettes are actually trying to march, but then the Sipahi lancers block them. But then, dun dun dun, some Muslim archers are coming to hopefully take some shots. Some crossbowmen, no, those guys are coming back. So I guess a lot of them Sicilian and Muslim archers have been routing, so I guess they have gone to the town center, their routing has stopped, and then they're coming back to take some shots. And so this infantry has plowed through, made the remaining Spanish infantry to rout, and then Sicily has a tiny, looks like they're routing, but then this unit of dismounted heavy lancers is we're still working on it. Come on, just poke him, it's not that hard. You have spears. Oh come on, you just died? Why can't you just poke him? I mean, that's not even very good. You're not even doing anything. That's pretty pathetic. It looks like Russia has some cavalry coming back. Yeah, Russia has several units coming back from routing. Tiny bit of infantry. Looks like they're routing again. Then they have some crossbow militia here fighting. Pretty healthy unit. So they have that crossbow militia and a tiny bit of cavalry militia. Looks like my tower is actually having somewhat of an archer fight with these guys. Or no, I think they're actually firing at that crossbow militia. And then that cavalry routed, and then the lancers are actually pulling backwards. And then this crossbow militia is still there. Now they're down to 60, 58. So yeah, I was right. The tower is taking some shots at this unit. Their general's dead, and they're the only unit that hasn't routed for Russia, so I'm sure they'll rout after a few more of that. So the Timurids have some dismounted heavy lancers guarding that. Oh my gosh, this Drusenhug unit is retreating back into our base. I find that extremely weird. And then, so this is a Jeanette unit that was guarding the Turks when they came in. There's 2 left. But now now Sicily has crossbowmen. So it looks like the Turks. I had sent out some Norse axemen to deal with them. Looks like they had chased the routing units away, or had gone out for some units that hadn't routed but were coming back from routing, and I'm sending those back. Now, looks like England just dealt with elephants that are still firing. England still has, these guys are all routing. And the conquistadors are still fighting, but now they're fighting this armored swordsman unit, which are pretty cool, good. And they're actually doing pretty well beating up. They're now down to 105 men. And then the number is not changing for these armored swordsmen. 81. They're outnumbered, but now they're down to 103. Now they're down to 80, 79, 77. They're like one of very few units that haven't routed. So it looks like England got the elephants, and that caused them to all rout except for that one unit. And then the Timurids, well, they have this dismounted heavy lancer unit, and a tiny bit of armored sergeants came, but then my general's bodyguard came, and they charged, and then so yeah, they're kicking butt. But yeah, Chivalric Knights, so I'm sending out my cavalry, and they're coming. And the Timurids are sending in more units. It looks like I had plenty of melee cavalry. And I have some Obu shards coming. The elephants are marching back. I have some crossbowmen running. So this battle is pretty much wrapped up. We definitely took our toll fighting these guys. Looks like these guys got the walls. The Timurids had sent up all the melee missile units they have, and now they're taking fire at Egyptian peasant archers that are still here. They should be close to routing. And then these Egyptian units have come back from routing. They have some cavalry. They're in idle though, so But yeah, I think I just quit the game because I had my cavalry and infantry all generated on the spot where England did, and uh-oh, a glitch. I guess I can't show you the stats. That's a shame. Maybe. Is that gonna work?
Word finds?
Yes, it does.
Like
Nope.
yours? She does?
Looks like it's not gonna work. Oh, yes, I'm not going to be able to show you the stats on that, but hope you enjoyed the battle. That was a pretty costly battle. But yeah, goodbye, YouTube.